All right, so I'm going to dive deep into the design of this Therizinosaurus vocalization. I'm going to break it down into its primary components, starting with the sub. Now, these creatures very likely had some infrasonic sounds, much like elephants generate, and these are things we can't hear. So to indicate that, or to sort of maybe like allude to that, I have a sub bass, which is well within the range of human hearing, but feels deep enough that it gives you the sense of scale of these creatures. This sub is synthesized using a vital patch, and I've done a bunch of processing to it to get it to where it is. And then we've got the Thumps. This is inspired by the shoebill stalk. It does this sort of thumpy kind of sound. So basically how I got this sound was to synthesize something similar using Faceplant. It sounds a bit like this. And what I've done is I've just sort of recorded that out, and I've morphed it with some organic sounds like these guys over here. So that's kind of like the sound of like earth moving and, you know, some rocky debris and things like that. Just morphing that together like gives it a really nice sort of squelchy, organic, thumpy kind of sound. And then we have a breath, which is part of the creature roar. So this is just something that the dinosaur is going to do before the actual roar. So we have a nice build up to the roar. Then finally, the roar itself is broken down into three components: the highs, the mids, and the bass. So Therizinosaurus, it is an herbivore. It's got these sloth-like claws to it. But it looks very bird-like in this imagery, and this is a stylized redesign, so I've gone with just what felt right to me. So I've made it a little bit screechy. And the highs really just draw your ear to this roar and give it like a little bit of an interesting, aggressive character. Then we've got the mids, which is like the core of the sound. It contains all the character and detail. And it's got this squelchy attack as well. And then we've got the bass, which is primarily filling up the body of the sound. And it's also filling up some of those like upper harmonics that the sub isn't covering in the lower registers. And that's the whole sound together. These roars are then exported as high, mid, and bass elements, despite the fact that we have a lot of like tiny layers. I don't want to stress an engine out with recombining lots of tiny layers. And it's really, I don't really see the benefit in doing that. So instead what I've done is I've sort of made them into folders like this. And each of these folders is exported out. So there's multiple versions of the high, there's multiple versions of the mid and the bass. And that is finally sent to Wwise, and they're combined randomly so that you have a unique vocalization each and every time, but you don't have dozens of assets that you need to create those unique vocalizations.